So Sam Harris is a former member of the intellectual dark web. He was really on his own in the group because he was the only one who was very outspokenly against Trump, even during the election cycle, but also afterwards. So he found himself on an island. Basically, everybody else was supporting Trump, or they would be very careful and walk on eggshells to criticize him if they ever did because they don't want to piss off their fans. So he was in an interesting position in the group. He's already turned in his intellectual dark web membership card, and it appears that Dave Rubin has revealed that Sam Harris actually unfollowed him on Twitter. Check it out.
Dave, you talked to Sam at all lately?
I'm not mistaken. No, he unfollowed me on Twitter. I'm a right-wing maniac. I hang out with you people. The liberals are not nearly as tolerant as they pretend to be.
No. Yeah. Well, he's going to be eating that too someday, that unfollow, that uncharitable Sam Harris.
Whatever.
I genuinely forgot that it happened. I don't know if I knew that happened, but I didn't mean to lead you right into that. So we will move on.
All right.
Now, there's multiple things about this that are funny. So one thing I should say is for a lot of people who are maybe new to the political YouTube scene or maybe just don't know, the person who really jump-started Dave Rubin's show after leaving TYT was actually Sam Harris. And so Sam Harris had sparked this really big debate with Cenk Uygur about, Islam and Israel-Palestine. And so those interviews that Sam Harris did on the Dave Rubin show, I think he was on Aura TV at the time, but he had left TYT. Those were really big interviews that really set his show up to kind of start off on a good note. So it definitely really helped. It certainly helped him really build his show and really set that foundation for his show. So it's interesting to see that obviously they've separated from each other. I'm sure that Sam Harris is like, fuck, I wish I could go back on that because he helped significantly help Dave Rubin's career significantly because that jumpstart that he got from those interviews was definitely very big. What's funny about him saying that, the liberals aren't so tolerant, obviously, that's usually used when there's like homophobes who are saying, why aren't you tolerant of my intolerance? You can't be tolerant of intolerance. That doesn't make any sense. But it's funny hearing that from Dave Rubin because he says he unfollowed him. So it's not like he tried canceling him or blocked him or anything like that. He just said, I don't want to see your bullshit on my feed anymore. But what is Dave Rubin notorious for doing on Twitter? Oh, that's right. He blocks everybody in sight. So a guy who has a block list that is insanely long, it includes people like Anthony Fantano, has a massive block list. And he's out here saying that Sam Harris is intolerant because he unfollowed Dave Rubin on Twitter. So you got to love that irony coming from Dave Rubin. But I think ultimately Sam Harris just got tired of Dave Rubin's nonsense. I think that it's a bit late. It took him a long time to do this, but he's also been getting into some beefs with other intellectual dark web members like Brett Weinstein over the COVID vaccine. I didn't expect him to go full vaccine truther, so that was also surprising. So interesting to see because Sam Harris is the only one who's really outspokenly liberal, right? So being anti-Trump, he's the only one. All the other ones either outright support him or they just don't criticize him because they don't want to lose patrons, like Jordan Peterson, for example. So, interesting stuff going on here. But it looks like the intellectual dark web is really dismantled.